My name is Simonetta Rigo, and I'm currently the SVP of Global Brand Marketing and Customer Engagement at Western Union. So it's a bit of a long title, just to say that I basically work and do the central marketing function at the Western Union company.
Great. So if I start by just asking you if your career path has followed the aspirations you had when you were starting out.
So I wish I could say that when I was starting out, I had this grand plan and I knew exactly what I was going to do and who I was going to be, but that's really not the case. But there were always a few things that were really important to me in guiding my decisions. And I feel I've been relatively true to those. And for me, it's always been about finding roles where I could have impact, right? And I could clearly see that I was achieving things and measurable progress. Finding roles where I could learn and expand my knowledge and my expertise. And then being able to exercise thought leadership and make quality decisions. So I've always gone for roles that are a little bit more strategic than just, operational. And then be surrounded by great people. And these 4 criteria have always been like the core tenets of making my decisions. And then over time, I've discovered the importance of connecting with consumers and customers, and that's become as important as a criterion. Or of working with a purpose, not just joining a company that makes a profit, but that also does something for the world. And so over time, I feel like when I look back, I had no idea that I was going to be here in this role today, but I feel like I've definitely been able to deliver on those things that were important.
Yeah. And so why do you enjoy working at Western Union? What would you recommend about your job to someone that was interested?
So I think one of the most special things about Western Union is just really the line of business that it's in, remittances and business payments, because these are the lifeline of the global economy and the global growth. And so our customers are very, very special. And people who take risks, who cross boundaries, who venture in the unknown, and they work really hard to be able to send that money back home. So for me, I have a special sort of empathy and connection with them. The people of the company are absolutely special. They are all a bit like me, dual belongers, triple belongers. If they're from abroad, they're not necessarily from the usual suspect nationalities from abroad. It's very diverse. And it's a little bit like a mini United Nations. And then the third thing has been the mission of repositioning the brand for the digital age and enabling the acceleration of growth in our digital channels. And I think, has been the best job I've had in my career. So what would I recommend? And the company, I think, is a great company. And as with all companies, you have to understand whether it's right for you. I always say Western Union is a bit like a 165-year-old startup. So it has some of the advantages of the big Fortune 500 companies, but it also has some of the feeling of family that you have in smaller companies. But then there are some people who prefer the truly bigger companies and some people who prefer the truly small companies. So it's just about understanding what feels right for you. And in terms of the role in marketing, I definitely recommend that because there's nothing better than being able to listen to your customers and understanding their needs and meeting them.
Yeah, definitely. So just kind of finding what's right for you. Yes. So what have the biggest challenges of your career been? And if you looked back, would you do anything differently?
Oh, well, I guess I'd say that my overarching challenge has been, because I've always been a bit of an eclectic person, right? I've always wanted to go and do something I hadn't done before and to learn something new. And so where my career eventually took me is from management consultant to in-house strategist to product management, product development, marketing, business development. And so I have an amazing breadth of experiences and versatility. But what I am not is the deep functional specialist who's done 20 years in the same function. And therefore, in a world where, in the business world, sometimes generalism and versatility is rewarded, and there are other times where actually deep functional specialism is more sought after. And so trying to balance these two and finding employers, finding companies that value what I bring, and as well as fending off the skepticism of the people who are looking for that depth and think that I can't do something just because I haven't done it before. I think this is the overarching career challenge, right, that I've had. And that teaches you to become very selective, to be good at understanding who are the leaders who will throw their weight behind you and their full support, and who are the people who are always going to be looking over and saying, that's not good enough, that's not good enough. And what are the companies that actually are enlightened about it versus the company that need more traditional type of profile and that are not for you.
What is the most important piece of advice that you could give to someone aspiring to a job like yours?
So the first thing is be confident in yourself, especially to the ladies out there. It's International Women's Day is going to be coming up soon, so we tend to need a reminder that to believe in ourselves and therefore to take risks and allow yourself to be stretched. And with risk comes success, sometimes also comes failure. So my second advice is be resilient, because for as many ups you'll have downs. For as many highs, you'll have lows. Be clear on what is important to you and what are the outcomes that matter to you. What are your values? What are the things that the must-haves that a job must take? But also be open to opportunity. Some of the best jobs have come my way. I wasn't looking for them. And they've been some of the best and most formative experiences. So it's good to say, I have a checklist of 10 things, but it's also important to recognize when that thing is tapping you on your shoulder and saying, I'm not going to go left anymore, I'm going to go right because this feels right.
Yeah, kind of about trusting your gut.
Yes, very much.
Yeah, and your point about women as well kind of brings me to my last question, which is, why do you think it's so important that women are successful in business?
Because there's absolutely no reason why they can't be. The world is 50-50, and I struggle to see why in business we shouldn't be having the same level of representation. We shouldn't be benefiting from that diversity of thinking, of skills, of approaching things that is true in real life. And why would we do away with that in business? Women can do great things just as men can do great things, and women and men together can achieve even greater things. So there's really no reason to.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the last of my questions. So is there anything else you'd like to add at all?
You asked me whether I had any regrets and things that I would do differently, and I think yes and no, right? I mean, I never lived my life with regrets, so I always look at that and say, darn, I really didn't like that, and I really suffered in that role or in that company. But look at what happened as a result of that, right? So I can think of a lot of things that I would say, if this next thing comes around and it feels like that, I'm going to make a different decision. But by and large, I'm very happy with both the successes and the learnings and the mistakes and the happiness and the pain that my career has brought me, because it's made me who I am today.